All right, the iPhone 16 is here, and this year, Apple has done something we haven't seen in a long time. They've packed a ton of pro-level features into the standard iPhone models. In fact, this might be the biggest leap for non-Pro iPhones since Apple first introduced the Pro line. From the new A18 chip to the upgraded 48 megapixel Fusion camera and the introduction of the action button and camera control, the iPhone 16 is bringing a lot to the table. The question is, does it live up to the hype? We're taking a deep dive into everything new, from performance improvements to battery life, and of course that upgraded camera system with its new spatial photo and video capabilities. So whether you're coming from an older iPhone or trying to decide if it's worth upgrading from the 15, this is the video to watch because Apple may have just made the standard phone feel more pro than ever before. Let's get started with this design. If you were expecting something dramatically different from the iPhone 15, you might be a little disappointed. The iPhone 16 sticks to that familiar flat edge design with aluminum frame, but Apple has definitely freshened things up this time. For starters, we now have some much bolder color options. I'm talking ultramarine, teal, and pink, along with the classic white and black. Now I've got the teal models here for both the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, and I think this looks really good, but trust me when I say all the iPhone 16 colors really pop this year in a way that makes me feel sad for the Pro line's blander colors. And the way Apple's done this is pretty impressive too. Instead of just slapping on a coat of paint, the colors are actually infused into the glass itself, its color through chemistry. Basically, metallic ions are incorporated right at the beginning of the glass creation, which means the color is spread evenly and looks rich, not just on the surface, but throughout the entire back glass. Now, this design isn't just about colors. You've also got a subtle redesign in the camera layout. The rear cameras are now arranged vertically, giving the phone a bit of a new look while still fitting into that classic Apple aesthetic. Plus, this new arrangement plays into the iPhone 16 spatial photo and video capabilities, which we'll get into later. And while we're on design, durability is still a big part of the package. Apple has their new second gen ceramic shield on the glass here, which they claim is twice as tough as any other smartphone glass out there. I haven't put that to the test myself, but it's definitely reassuring to know it's protected from everyday drops. The iPhone 16s also come with IP68 water and dust resistance, so you're covered for accidental spills or quick dips in the water. Right, next, let's talk about these displays and overall usability. Both the iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus come with Apple's Super Retina XDR display. And as usual, the screen quality is fantastic. You're looking at 6.1 inches for the regular iPhone 16 and 6.7 for the iPhone 16 Plus. So whether you prefer something more compact or a big screen for media consumption, you've got options. Now, one thing that really stands out with these displays is the brightness. Apple's pushed the brightness up to a peak of 2000 nits in outdoor conditions, so using your phone in direct sunlight is not a problem at all. Even in super bright environments, the colors are vibrant and the text stays crisp. On the flip side, when you're in a dark room, the display can go as low as 1 nit, which is great for those late night browsing sessions when you don't want to strain your eyes or bother someone next to you. Now, what hasn't changed? Well, we're still looking at a 60 Hz refresh rate, which at this point feels dated. Apple's ProMotion feature with its 120 Hz variable refresh rate is still reserved for the Pro models, which is a bit of a shame, especially since so many other phones at this price point or much lower offer higher refresh rates. For most people, this probably won't be a deal breaker, but if you've ever used a phone with a 120 Hz display, you'll notice the difference in how smooth everything feels, especially when scrolling. While I understand that 120 Hz ProMotion is a pro feature, I would have loved to see a 90 Hz display here on the 16 lineup. As for usability, the iPhone 16's 6.1 inch display is still one of the best for one-handed use. It's big enough to comfortably watch videos or scroll through social media, but it doesn't feel oversized. Meanwhile, the iPhone 16 Plus gives you that extra real estate if you're into gaming or binge watching content, but without feeling too unwieldy. All right, up next, performance. One of the biggest upgrades this year is the new A18 chip, and it's a big deal, especially because Apple has skipped a generation here. The iPhone 15 was running on the A16 chip, but the iPhone 16 jumped straight to the A18 chip, completely bypassing A17 altogether. That's a 2-generation leap in performance in 1 year, which you'll definitely notice if you're coming from an even older iPhone. The A18 chip is built on second generation 3nm technology, and paired with 8 gigs of RAM in the iPhone 16s, it is a powerhouse. Whether you're multitasking with several apps, editing photos or videos, or playing graphically intense games, everything runs incredibly smoothly. During my testing, I didn't notice any lag or stuttering, even when pushing the iPhone with demanding tasks. For gamers, this chip also brings hardware accelerated ray tracing, making games look sharper and more realistic. It's impressive how much graphical detail you can get on a mobile device now. And it's not just about like raw power. The A18 is also a lot more efficient. Apple claims it's 30% more energy efficient than the A16, which should translate to much better battery life. This chip helps manage background processes and high performance tasks without draining the battery as quickly. We'll talk more about the battery later, but just know that this chip is doing a lot of the heavy lifting to make sure your phone lasts longer on a single charge. And one of the more exciting promises of the iPhone 16 is its support for Apple Intelligence. But there is a catch. It's not available yet. Apple Intelligence won't be live until iOS 18.1 rolls out in October, so you'll need to have a bit of patience before you can experience everything this AI has to offer. And even then, it'll only be available in the US at first, with other regions getting access later on. The first wave of Apple Intelligence features will include tools to help with writing, like proofreading, rewriting, and summarizing text, which could be useful for anyone who writes emails or documents on the go. But so far, I've found the generated text to be like very bland and dry, lacking personality. The proofreading and summarization, though, are on point. We're also getting notification summaries, which I love, a new Siri that looks great, and some AI-powered upgrades in photos, like the ability to create memories on the fly in natural language or clean up unwanted elements in your pictures. Mail and Safari will also get content summaries, and we'll see some improvements in focus mode, which will now be powered by AI to help filter out distractions more effectively. Then in iOS 18.2, which we're expecting sometime in December, before the end of the year, Apple plans to roll out even more advanced features, including the one I'm looking forward to most, Genmoji for creating custom emojis, the image playground for generating these cartoonish images, and optional ChatGPT integration for Siri and writing tools. There's also the potential for Siri's personal context awareness, which could make your interactions with Siri feel more natural and personalized. Plus, Apple Intelligence will expand to other English-speaking regions like the UK, Australia, and Canada. Now, the important thing to note is that the A18 chip is built specifically to handle these AI-powered features with ease, and that 8 gigs of RAM ensures smooth performance even when juggling multiple tasks. Although you won't see all these features at launch, the iPhone 16 is future-proofed to take advantage of Apple Intelligence as it becomes more integrated with the phone in 2024 and beyond. Now that we've talked about how Apple Intelligence is set to transform the iPhone experience with smart AI-driven tools, it's a great time to mention something that can boost your own brain power. Whether it's improving concentration, memory, or mental speed, there's a way to keep your mind sharp, and that's where this video's sponsor, Thinkie, comes in. It's an innovative brain training system that lets you train your brain in 60 seconds and is unlike anything else on the market. Thinkie combines a wearable headband with cutting-edge technology called FNIRS, or functional near-infrared spectroscopy, that measures real-time brain activity. While you play brain training games on the Thinkie app, the system uses real-time feedback to show how hard your brain is working. Cool colors mean low activity, warm colors mean you're really working those neurons. It's like having a fitness tracker, but for your brain. The Thinkie app is loaded with games designed by neuroscientists to improve key cognitive areas like memory, concentration, and mental speed. And it's not just about games. The Brain Meter feature lets you track how your brain performs during non-screen activities like solving puzzles or playing music. And here's the best part. Thinkie works for everyone. Whether you're a student looking to boost concentration, a professional trying to stay sharp, or just someone who wants to keep their brain healthy, Thinkie adapts to your goals and gives you a personalized brain training experience. So if you're looking for a fun and scientifically proven way to keep your brain in top shape, check out Thinkie. Head to www.thinkiesystem.com to learn more, and once again, big thank you to Thinkie for sponsoring this video. All right, now let's get to one of the most important aspects of any phone, the cameras. First, the 48 megapixel wide camera is back, but with improvements, making it the new Fusion camera. You still got that quad pixel sensor, which combines pixels to create sharper and more detailed images. And you still have the 2x optical quality telephoto, but now with a faster aperture that captures 1.6 times times more light. In practice, this means you get two cameras in one, a wide and a telephoto, which is great for versatility without needing to upgrade to the Pro model. Low light performance has also improved, especially with the ultra-wide lens. Apple's added larger pixels and a faster aperture there too, which means the camera can capture more light, resulting in brighter and clearer photos in low light situations. This is especially noticeable in nighttime shots or indoor photography where lighting isn't always ideal. On top of that, Apple's macro photography game has gotten even stronger. Thanks to the ultra-wide lens's new autofocus, you can get incredibly close to your subject, just a few centimeters away, while maintaining sharpness. This feature really shines when capturing fine details like flowers, insects, or even everyday objects. It's an area where the iPhone 16 clearly sets itself apart from previous models. Now, about those spatial photos and videos. This is a brand new feature and it's really geared towards the future, specifically for Apple Vision Pro. Essentially, the iPhone 16 can capture stereoscopic information using both the Fusion and ultra-wide cameras, which allows it to create 3D-like images and videos that you can experience in a more immersive way with Apple Vision Pro. And it's definitely cool, but for most people, probably not something you'll be using regularly, at least not until more devices and apps support spatial media. Still, it's a nice future-proof feature for anyone looking to get into that ecosystem, and I highly recommend using spatial mode for special moments with friends and family. Your future self will thank you. When it comes to video, the iPhone 16 continues to impress. You can shoot up to 4K at 60 frames per second, which is pretty much standard for Apple at this point, but the improvements come in the form of spatial audio capture. The phone automatically captures spatial audio while recording, so when you play your videos back with AirPods or any spatial audio setup, the sound feels like it's all around you, adding a new layer of immersion. This is especially notable when filming live events, outdoor scenes, or anything with a lot of ambient sound. And for those of you who like to tinker with your audio settings, there's also the new audio mix feature. This allows you to adjust the sound during playback, isolating voices that are in the frame and minimizing background noise. So if you're recording in a noisy environment, this feature is great, making it easier to clean up your audio without needing any additional software. Okay, no mic. This is an audio mix test of how it sounds on standard. All right, next, this is how it sounds when I choose the in-frame option. And again, no mic. This is how it sounds when I choose studio. So it should mimic the effect of sound dampening and reduce the echoes in this room. And this is the cinematic mode in audio mix on the iPhone 16. And then for one last comparison, we are now back on standard. All right, now let's talk about the new camera control. This feature might seem small at first, but it really changes how you interact with the camera on the iPhone 16. Apple has added a dedicated physical button on the side of the phone, which gives you quick one-click access to the camera app. So whether you're on the lock screen or in the middle of another app, just press the camera control and you're instantly ready to shoot. And here's the best part. It's not just about speed. The camera control also makes it easier to adjust your camera settings on the fly. With a swipe of your finger, you can switch between different modes like portrait, video, or ultra wide. No more having to dive into the menu or manually mess with settings. The camera control is all about making the process of capturing a moment as seamless and quick as possible. But it doesn't stop with Apple's camera app. Third-party camera apps and camera apps specifically can also take advantage of this button, which opens up a lot of possibilities. For example, if you use a specialized app for professional photography or videography, those apps can access the camera control and optimize it for use within those apps. For me, I want to see Apple get the swiping interface dialed in a bit more because it doesn't feel as fluid as I thought it would and often requires multiple swipes for things that I felt like should only take one. They'll also be adding a new half press to focus function soon in a software update, so it sounds like we may be seeing this feature evolve over time. All right, now let's talk about something that really matters for everyday use, and that's battery life. Apple has made some notable improvements with the iPhone 16. Both models come with larger batteries, but the real hero behind the improved battery life is likely the A18 chip. Apple claims it's up to 30% more energy efficient than the A16, which translates into longer usage times without sacrificing performance. So let's break it down. The iPhone 16 offers up to 22 hours of video playback, which is a 10% improvement over the iPhone 15's 20 hours. Now for the iPhone 16 Plus, you're looking at up to 27 hours of video playback compared to 26 hours on the iPhone 15 Plus, and that's just about a 3.8% increase. In practical terms, you can expect expect the iPhone 16 to comfortably last all day, and the iPhone 16 Plus could easily get you through more than that. Wireless charging has also seen an upgrade, as the iPhone 16s now support Qi 2 at 15 watts and faster MagSafe charging at 25 watts when using the new MagSafe charger. This means you can charge your iPhone 16 from 0 to 50% in just 30 minutes using MagSafe charging, while the iPhone 16 Plus can reach 50% in about 35 minutes. That's a significant improvement, making it easier to top up your battery quickly when you're in a rush. Beyond the big headline features like the A18 chip and improved cameras, there are also a few notable updates worth mentioning. The standout one probably being the action button, which was previously only available on the iPhone 15 Pro model. Apple has now brought this highly customizable button to the 16. By default, it's your mute switch, but the real power lies in the ability for it to be personalized. You can assign the button to launch a variety of apps and shortcuts, such as turning on your flashlight, opening your favorite app, starting a voice memo, language translation, or even running a custom shortcut that you've created. This brings a whole new level of convenience, especially if you want quick access to frequently used functions without having to find them across different apps. Next, there's Wi-Fi 7, which significantly improves your connection speed and reduces latency on compatible networks. Whether you're streaming 4K content, gaming, or simply using multiple connected devices in your home, Wi-Fi 7 ensures a faster and more stable connection compared to previous standards, and it's nice to see it appear here on both the Pro and non-Pro iPhones at the same time. Apple has also added better wind noise reduction for video recording, which means that when you're shooting outdoors in less than ideal conditions, the microphone does a much better job of isolating your voice and minimizing wind interference, resulting in clearer and higher quality audio. Apple has made some meaningful improvements this year, and it really feels like one of the biggest leaps forward for the non-Pro iPhones since the Pro line was introduced. The A18 chip, 48 megapixel fusion camera, new action button, new camera control, and Wi-Fi 7 are all standout additions that make the iPhone 16 feel more advanced than ever. That said, if you're currently using an iPhone 15 and wondering if you should upgrade, I never recommend annual upgrades as a general rule, but this time is potentially different due to Apple Intelligence. If that's something you're excited about, it'll only work with the iPhone 15 Pro, 16, and 16 Pro, which means you'd need something newer than an iPhone 15. Aside from that, the action button and camera enhancements are the most significant upgrades, and if you're big into mobile photography or want customizable, fast access to key features, the iPhone 16 could be worth the jump. However, those coming from something older, like an iPhone 13, this upgrade is a whole different story. You'll feel a dramatic improvement across the board. The jump from the A15 to A18 chip gives you a much faster experience, better energy efficiency, and smoother multitasking. The camera system is also a huge leap forward with the 48 megapixel sensor, improved low light photography, and the ability to shoot spatial photos and videos, which opens up new creative possibilities. Plus, the battery life is significantly better, from 19 hours on the 13 to 22 hours on the iPhone 16. Apple has packed enough features into the iPhone 16 to make it one of the most exciting iPhone models in years, Pro or not. But if you're wondering about what the iPhone 16 Pro brings to the table, be sure to check out my review. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Webbers, and I will catch you in the next video.